Sports cars, defined as vehicles made for high speed and quick maneuverability. GT cars like those found in your garage. Exotic machines like Daytona prototypes. Two classes, one race. It's racing in the purest form. Drivers battling against each other and against time. Grand-Am road racing. It's synonymous with excitement.
It's the closest road racing by far and away on four wheels.
Never had as much fun as I'm having racing the Daytona prototypes.
You never know who's going to win.
The battles are intense, the rivalries are intense.
The driver gets all the glory, that's who gets the checkered flag, but it is so much of a team sport.
It's a fight to the end, and it's exciting racing to watch.
In 2011, the first race of the International Motorsports season begins at one of the most famous tracks in the world.
What is the experience like winning at Daytona?
It's the most important race of the season. It's the Super Bowl of the series.
It's amazing. To stand on the top step is pretty special.
The Rolex 24 at Daytona, twice around the clock.
It's a unique atmosphere driving around with fireworks and flashlights and fires and the Ferris wheel.
You're driving at night and it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and you see some people standing in the grandstand still watching the race.
A test of endurance, man and machine, until one team reigns supreme. Torrential rain dominated the early stages of the 2010 Rolex 24 at Daytona. After starting under caution, drivers were allowed up to full speed, and the effects of the wet track took its toll. Through the night, the racing was intense, and the tension built into the cold and windy daylight hours.
So, there's a 63.
With a record 53 lead changes, including all but 2 of the Daytona prototypes, the winner was always in question. After 24 hours of racing, the number 9 Action Express team of João Barbosa, Terry Borscheller, Ryan Dial, and Mike Rockenfeller took the overall title by 52 seconds.
This is exciting stuff. The Action Express team on debut go to victory lane at the Rolex 24.
Of the 755 laps, the Action Express team led 316, including 129 by Barbosa.
It's unbelievable, just an amazing experience. It was a brand new team with an unproven car with the unproven engine, and with just everything clicked. Winning the 24 Hours of Daytona is definitely one of the highlights of my career.
To win it, especially to stand on the top step, even finishing it is quite the achievement, but to stand on the top step is pretty special.
When the 24 grueling hours were over for the GT class, Jonathan Bomarito took the checkers in the number 70 Speed Source Mazda RX-8.
They're back to victory lane. They win GT and get the start of this season off to the perfect start.
Bringing a new Rolex to the wrists of teammates Sylvain Tremblay, Nick Ham, and David Haskell.
Winning the 24 Hours Daytona is the highlight of my career so far. It was just an amazing experience. Personal satisfaction, but so much as a team as well. That sense of achievement after winning that race is beyond words.
We got hit right around midnight, so we had to go back to the garage. Nobody gave up, but we knew that was going to be our job. It was going to be that much more difficult to come from behind and win it and then pull away. Pretty special.
The Rolex 24 at Daytona. To drive in this race, on such hallowed ground, that's something to be cherished.
Daytona is a magical place. I'm really blessed. I'm one of the lucky guys to be able to come and race at this very special place.
Driving at Daytona is obviously in itself is a phenomenal experience, just the high bankings and so on, which we never get to experience anywhere else. You know you're in a pretty special place.
You have a motorsports hero He's been at Daytona. He's won at Daytona. It's a special place for me. Some of our greatest challenges and our biggest successes have come at that particular venue.
Daytona is very special for all of us in sports car racing, and it's one of the things on the bucket list that you want to check off as a driver that you've got.
The winning team of a Rolex 24 will run roughly 700 laps. The car will be pitted nearly 24 times, with driver changes occurring about every 3 hours. The course is a combination of the high-banked NASCAR Oval, a 5-turn infield loop, and a backstretch chicane known as the bus stop. Let the men who navigate this circuit for 24 hours take you through one lap.
So you're going to cross over the start-finish line, and you already have your eyes up looking into corner 1.
I would say one of the most difficult corners in the entire series.
That seems like that's where all hell usually breaks loose.
Well, the biggest trick is getting off of the banking at 170 miles an hour and into turn 1, taking off 100 miles an hour.
You've got a kind of funneling effect where you've got these 3 lanes going down essentially into 1 lane.
It gets your attention because you're going in pretty fast, and if you hiccup on your braking, you're going to know it pretty quickly because that corner comes up, you know, like right now.
Braking that hard and asking the car to go over a transition like that, it asks a lot of the equipment.
You want all the grip you can get, and you try to plead with your engineer to give you some more downforce, but it just isn't going to happen because at the end of the day, you need the top speed if you're going to win the race.
After that, you have the series of short S's, which are fairly easy flat, then a hairpin that's difficult to get the braking right.
The international horseshoe, you got to drive it in deep and make sure that you haven't overdriven to where you miss the inside of the corner.
You realize how slippery it is. Especially when it's cold. If you're on fresh tires, it can be really, really slippery, easy to spin.
Power it out. Now you have a bit of a short straight.
I love the kink in between the 2 horseshoes.
It's a drag race to the kink.
It's a man's corner.
It's sort of manly to get through there flat, but it doesn't really get you much. But you get bragging rights.
When you catch traffic, the closing speed between the DPs and the GTs is always pretty big there, so there tends to be some contact there now and then.
And then right away down braking into another hairpin corner, down to first gear again, into the inside curb, and you know, same thing as last one, wait for it, you're always waiting on the front end in Daytona.
When you get to turn 6, you're not really going super fast, but it's always a challenge to stop there for some reason. You guys lock up easily there, and it seems to camber off. When you drive off, it's like the car completely falls over.
It's just a real funny, awkward line, and you have to get to the power early there or you're going to pay for it.
It leads onto the longest straightaway, onto the back straightaway through the banking, so you got to make sure you get a very good exit.
Then you're onto the banking, and the banking is really a straight for us. We're flat out the whole way through.
You're sitting there behind the wheel and nothing's really happening. It's very easy to lose focus, but at the same time, you're doing 165, 170 miles an hour, and you've got the prototypes flying by on both sides. You have to keep your attention up, even though you spend 25 seconds with your foot flat on the gas, holding the steering wheel completely straight, doing nothing except just waiting for the braking zone.
And you come into the bus stop, which is my favorite corner. It's the fastest corner there.
Wilkins on the outside. It's a braking duel into the bus stop.
That transition in braking, it's awkward.
The brakes don't always stay the same. They get worse, and you get a long pedal there, so you see cars going off there all the time.
Hopefully you're not locking up any front tires, and you just kind of throw in the car at about 120 miles per hour and then catch the rear end, turn it back to the right because you get to go back onto the straightaway again.
And then you're back all the way up to top speed near terminal velocity, just near 200 miles an hour again.
But there's nothing like really fighting for a position with another car and going side by side on that banking. It's a thrill.
You know, there's not a ton to the lap, but for some reason it's hard as heck on cars. I mean, it just chews cars up and spits them out.